My friends, long before the world dressed success in polished words and sold it in books and seminars, there were men and women who understood a truth so profound it seemed like magic. They knew the manifestation cheat codes that bend life itself toward one's will. These were not tricks or empty affirmations. They were laws, unseen, unwavering, and waiting for the bold to claim them. I remember sitting with an old mentor, a man who had nothing but a dream burning in his soul. Each evening he would stare into the horizon as though speaking to destiny itself, and I would ask him, "What are you saying to the sky?" He would smile and reply, "I am telling it what must be." Because when your mind speaks with enough conviction, the universe dares not refuse. That, my friends, is the first cheat code. A thought held with absolute faith is a command, not a request. Yet thought alone is not enough. Many dream, few manifest. Why? Because there is a bridge between faith and action, and most never set foot on it. Picture a man standing before a vast chasm. On the other side lies his riches, his love, his destiny. He believes it's his, but unless he steps forward, takes action in the face of fear, the treasure rots unseen. The second cheat code whispers this truth: act as though you cannot fail, and you will not. There is also an alignment we often forget. You cannot summon abundance while secretly expecting lack. The mind must be tuned like an instrument to receive the music of success. Every thought, every word, every feeling must point in one direction toward that which you desire. This is where most falter, speaking of wealth yet expecting poverty, dreaming of love while fearing rejection. The third cheat code teaches, become the person who already owns the dream, and the dream will find you. And so I ask you, will you be like the countless souls who walk past life's treasure chest because they believe the lock cannot be opened? Or will you dare to hold the key of unwavering thought, fearless action, and perfect alignment? My friends, the cheat codes have existed since the dawn of time. They are not hidden, only unused. The moment you claim them, destiny bends its knee. In today, make this vow: I will think it, I will believe it, I will act as though it is already mine, and I will not stop until the universe delivers. For success is not granted to the hesitant, it is seized by the relentless. My friends, long before the world dressed success in polished words and sold it in books and seminars, there existed a deeper, almost mystical understanding of manifestation. This was knowledge that did not come from theory or guesswork, but from men and women who lived it, breathed it, and transformed barren fields into kingdoms of gold. These manifestation cheat codes were whispered from one determined soul to another, passed down not in classrooms, but in the quiet hours of reflection, in the moments where dreams seemed impossible, and yet something greater stirred within. Picture this: a man in the early dawn, before the sun has kissed the earth, standing alone in a vast empty field. He owns nothing but his vision, no tools, no riches, no army of helpers. But within his mind is an image so clear, so vivid, that the empty field is already a thriving empire. The world would laugh at him, neighbors would scoff, saying, "It cannot be done." Yet, in his soul, he knows something they do not. He has unlocked the first cheat code of manifestation, the power to claim the unseen before it is visible, to own the dream before it is tangible. This is the foundation of all success stories that have ever been written. You see, the world believes manifestation begins when you set goals, write affirmations, or take action. But the truth is, these cheat codes existed long before any of those steps were understood. They lie in the ancient laws of thought, thoughts that are not mere passing whims, but concentrated, deliberate forces shaping reality in silence. These pioneers of success understood that the universe is not deaf, nor is it cruel. It listens to the mind that speaks with burning desire and refuses to contradict itself with doubt. They played the game of life with rules invisible to the ordinary eye. bending circumstances not through luck, but through mastery of thought and unwavering faith. This untold secret is not about learning new things. It is about remembering old truths that the modern world has buried under noise and distraction. Distraction. The manifestation cheat codes existed before the word manifestation was ever uttered, before self-help became an industry, before motivation was sold in 10-step plans. They are as ancient as time itself, woven into the very fabric of existence, waiting for the soul courageous enough to command them. These are the roots from which every great fortune, every grand vision, every impossible success has sprung, except. The second truth, my friends, is that every great destiny begins with a single thought, but not just any thought. A fleeting idea, a passing wish, a casual hope, these are weak whispers lost to the wind. The power that transforms lives comes from a thought held with intensity, shaped by desire so strong it burns within you like a raging fire that cannot be extinguished. This is the cheat code most overlooked thought, when fused with emotion and purpose, becomes a living force that bends reality in its favor. Let me take you back to a memory etched in my mind forever. I once met a man who had walked barefoot through the dust of failure for years. He had no money, no connections, no education worthy of mention. Yet, when you looked into his eyes, you saw something that no earthly hardship could crush, a vision so alive, it seemed to breathe through him. Each morning, he would sit on the porch of his small, worn-down home and close his eyes, not to escape his reality, but to see more clearly what others could not. He would visualize himself standing in abundance, shaking hands with powerful men, living the life that at that moment seemed 1,000,000 miles away. And when I asked him how he could hold on to a dream that the world said was impossible, he replied with unwavering certainty, "Because I already own it in here," tapping his temple and his heart. That man, within 5 short years, built an empire that astonished everyone who once doubted him. This is the nature of thought when you treat it not as a mere idea, but as a command to the universe. A single definite thought, held with persistence and wrapped in burning desire, begins to gather unseen forces around you. Opportunities that once passed you by start gravitating toward you. People you've never met seem drawn into your life to aid your cause. Coincidences align, doors open, and the world reshapes itself around the certainty you carry within. But here lies the key difference. Most people think about what they want. Very few think into it, breathe life into it, nurture it daily until it takes on a power that cannot be denied. The man or woman who locks one great thought in their mind, refuses to let doubt corrode it, and fuels it every day with emotion and action, will eventually command reality to obey. This, my friends, is no fantasy. It is a law as real as gravity, and it has worked for every soul who dared to believe beyond what they could see. There is a bridge, my friends, that every dreamer must cross, a narrow, invisible passage suspended between faith and action. It is a bridge so few dare to step upon, and yet it is the very thing that separates the wishful thinker from the true manifester. The world is filled with men and women who believe they deserve more, who hope for a brighter future, who pray for opportunity to knock at their door. But belief, left unaccompanied by bold, decisive movement, is like a seed left unplanted. It carries life within it, yet it bears no fruit. I recall a young man I once mentored. He had dreams of building his own business, dreams so big they frightened him. He believed with all his heart that success was meant for him. He spoke of it, dreamed of it, prayed for it. But for years he stood on the banks of that chasm, staring across at the life he longed for, unwilling to risk a single step forward. Fear whispered in his ear, "What if you fail? What if you lose everything?" And so, despite his belief, the dream never left his imagination. And one day, after much urging, he finally took that first trembling step. investing what little money he had, making calls to strangers, knocking on doors that might slam in his face. And something miraculous happened. The moment his belief was backed by action, his life began to change. Opportunities emerged that were invisible before. Helpers appeared, doors swung open, and paths unfolded that he couldn't have seen from where he once stood. This is the forgotten cheat code of manifestation. The bridge between faith and action is not just a pathway. It is the birthplace of miracles. Faith alone can inspire, but faith married to bold, relentless action moves mountains. The universe responds not to idle wishes, but to footsteps that declare, "I refuse to turn back." Imagine standing before that bridge yourself. Behind you is the life you've outgrown. Ahead of you is everything you've ever dreamed of. Fear will tell you to wait for certainty, but certainty never comes first. It is built one step at a time. Those who dare to cross, despite trembling knees and a pounding heart, discover that the bridge holds steady, and on the other side, destiny waits with arms wide open. CBLITU. There is a principle, my friends, far older than any book on success, far more powerful than luck or circumstance, a principle of alignment. It is the silent law that governs manifestation. And yet, most men and women violate it every single day without realizing it. They dream of greatness but think small thoughts. They pray for abundance while expecting scarcity. They visualize love yet fear rejection in the same breath. And so their minds become divided, their energy scattered, and the universe cannot deliver to a soul that sends out conflicting orders. Imagine the mind as a great magnet. Every thought, every word, every emotion is a signal broadcast into the unseen. When your signals are strong, focused, and unwavering, they draw toward you people, opportunities, and circumstances that match that vibration. But when you think one thing and feel another, when your words deny the very dreams you claim to hold, your magnet grows weak and erratic. You may pull a little of what you want, but more often you attract confusion, delays, and endless struggle. I once met a woman who desperately wanted to rise above her life of lack. Every morning she wrote affirmations about wealth and success. Yet every evening she spoke of how money never comes, how life is unfair, how riches are for other people. Her mind was like a river flowing in two opposite directions, never gaining force. When I told her this, she asked, "Then how do I change it?" I said, "You must ... Jillian,